This episode is being sponsored by IBM Watson Commerce, which helps you drive innovation and act with speed and precision to improve business outcomes. Now is the moment when you can leverage cognitive capabilities to gain the insights you need to take action that deepens customer connections and drives business growth.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to episode 65 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Today I'm joined by Jim Garlow, Director of Marketing Operations at CDW, a leading B2B retailer of computers, hardware, software, and IT solutions. We're going to be discussing how CDW is managing the customer experience through all the different ways it interacts with and markets to its customers. Thanks for joining me today, Jim.
Yep. Good morning, Joe.
So let's first talk a little bit about the few ways that CDW ensures that its customers have a consistent experience with the brand, especially considering the fact of all the different interaction points that CDW is touching its customers, from its website to email to mobile, catalog, social media, there's and more. So with all those different ways that you're communicating with customers, what are you doing to provide that consistent brand experience?
Yeah, well, first, Joe, let me give you a little bit of expanded background. We've got 250,000 customers. We're primarily a B2B company, and we bring in annually about $13 billion in sales. So there is a large sales volume, which transacts into a decent amount of a marketing budget. So we're not as big to do huge TV campaigns, but we do TV campaigns for the NFL and for the Final Four in the spring. And so we are on TV, radio. We produce 5 of our own magazines. We're on, outdoor billboards, airport signage, local and national events, catalogs, direct mail, and a variety of social media such as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So it's really a multimedia, omnichannel approach. So for the customer experience, it is a real challenge for us because we're in various mediums. So, in the old days when we would drop a catalog and the phones would ring, it was fairly easy to manage the customer experience and manage the metrics. But in our omnichannel approach, it's more of a challenge. And then also in our B2B environment, it can be a challenge with the purchase cycle time. So some of our cloud computing solutions take 18 months to 2 years to make the final purchase. So you can't run a television ad and then expect to see sales pop the next day, or run a radio ad or run a catalog. It's very challenging. And when you run multiple mediums at the same time, that can be a real challenge, and to see which medium actually drove it. So we have to use a variety of methods to manage or measure each of them. So, of course, for catalogs and direct mail, we're going to use some traditional matchback analysis, which retailers have been using for years. We get very solid traffic on our website, so we really know where the clicks are at. We have very tight metrics in that area. But when it comes to mass media, we have to utilize a lot of surveys and try to see where our name recognition is, where the customer is in the purchase funnel, and get feedback on if we're top of mind in that purchase funnel, and if as they make their way further into the purchase funnel, what consideration we're giving. So to manage that customer journey, we have a customer journey team. We have a team that actually sits down and maps out the expected customer journey. So if we're dropping a white paper or a customer case story, we're going to have some call to action at the end of that story, whether it be go to our website and make a purchase, or go to our account manager to find additional information, or maybe there's a deeper white paper. So what we try to do is map out the customer experience, map out the journey that they're going to have, and then try to direct them in the way that's going to meet their needs for their specific segment and for their specific position they are in the purchase funnel. So are they just sort of considering, are they just dabbling their feet into the water, or are they seriously going to make a purchase quite quickly?
Yeah, and so we talked. You talked a lot about the different interaction points and then how you're measuring that performance of some of the different channels. Let's take a step back and talk about the CDW customer. Do you have a target demographic that you're marketing for? Maybe it depends upon product line. It might differ. And then with those kind of different customers, what kind of different approaches do you use when it comes to marketing mediums? Can you talk about the thought process for you and your team when kind of segmenting your customers and then identifying the marketing strategy that works best for each segment?
Yeah, so we do an awful lot of segmentation with our customers, but what we look at is what type of area they're in, such as small business, medium and large. Healthcare is a huge area for us. Education, both K through 12 and higher ed, federal, state, and local. And then we have some pillars underneath, such as retail, legal fields, SOHO, and non-for-profits. And we do take a different approach. One thing that does work across all of those segments is a multi-channel approach. So what doesn't work for us is we do not drop a catalog by itself, or we do not drop a direct mail piece by itself. Everything we would do in print is going to have an e-version that's going to go out also. But almost everything we do has like 12 components that run together. We call them campaigns, and we will have 5 to 10 campaigns each year that we focus on, and they will be focused on each one of those segments. Now, in those segments, there are some things that work better than others, and some that are a cost to serve. So in the healthcare field, we do an awful lot of events. We do big events with the healthcare industry because that's such a big budget to go after. In the federal market, we use polybagging. We find out that our catalogs can't penetrate the mail rooms in the federal buildings, so we polybag them with a magazine that's going to those customers, and so that way we can penetrate those federal buildings. And we also have 5 magazines of our own that we produce that go after our 5 top segments. And those segments are vendor agnostic, where we don't push one vendor over another or one partner over another. What we push is, here's the problem and here is the solution to that problem. And it's an IT solution, obviously. But we, whether the walls are too big at a college institution and they need to come up with some wireless solution that will meet their needs. So we focus on problem and solution. But very much we segment the customers, and then we do use different approaches for each of the individual segments. But one thing we must use is a multi-channel approach. We don't do any solo campaigns anymore. We found out that over the years, solo doesn't work. Over the years, we've reduced our print somewhat, but now print has stabilized, and print is sort of the foundation, if you will, that we build off of. And so we will do a catalog or a direct mail, but then we will do e-versions of everything off of that, and we will do email campaigns and newsletters and other mediums that will go along and support that. Definitely over the years, we've been expanding in events. And even though it's really a small portion of our return right now, social media is an expanding and growing area for us because of the fact that we don't feel that it's strong today, but we feel it is going to be stronger down the road, so we are expanding into that a great deal.
Yeah, it's interesting that the print would still be when you hear all these retailers and more on the B2C side that they're moving away from print and catalog specifically, that it's still really an effective channel for you on the B2B side. So then let's talk a little bit about what have proven to be some of the more successful channels that you've used at CDW, and then kind of a second part to that question is, likewise, what are some things that you've tried that might not have worked, and then thoughts on why things have been successful and why things might not have worked.
Yeah, the successful and not successful definitely is, again, the multi-channel campaigns versus solo. There are certain areas where we will use outdoor billboards on a local basis. Radio, we use huge for the federal busy season. So for our federal market, we're going to bombard the radio in Washington, D.C. inside the Beltway, and that's going to be big. Their federal busy season is in September, so we're going to use that heavy. Across the board, we do use a strong mix. Radio is sort of radio, TV. And a lot of our mass is sort of what I call our umbrella or our air cover, if you will. And then it varies per segment. We will use a lot of local and national events. And those will vary. Again, we're B2B, but if it's an IT, we may use tabletop solutions in a small tabletop event with 20 customers in a small market. And then we will be in large, million plus expense events throughout the nation for major happenings such as the HIMSS big healthcare initiative each year that they have. So it varies. Events, again, strong for healthcare, strong for medium and large businesses, but more tabletops is going to work better for our small business. But multimedia is the key to it. We use catalogs in all segments that we have. But again, we use e-versions on that, and we continue to expand our search. Our off-domain is a big area for us and one of our growing areas, and keyword search is just very important to us.
Yeah, and it would seem to me that sort of some of the mass media stuff that you're doing, television, radio, is creating brand awareness, like you said. It's kind of providing that air cover, but then some of the drill down on some of the more personalized campaigns are whether it be a catalog or a keyword buy or email. I guess those are sort of more the drilled down personalization techniques.
Yes, absolutely. So mass is the air cover, and that's more or less the name recognition. We have a good chunk of the market out there now that are not aware of us or have never considered us for purchasing. So we need that name out there. We also need the name recognition for actually who's signing the checks. So we have IT managers that'll be making choices, but when they go to get the check signed off by the CIO has got to be comfortable with the company, and so they need to know who we are. So we need the name recognition through the mass, but definitely we use the other mediums for more targeted approaches. So you're going to see our offline vehicles are going to be aimed at specific segments, not at the masses as much. Social media, in subsegments of the social media, they're going to be targeted. Radio's definitely targeted, outdoors targeted, and direct mail and email campaigns are definitely targeted for each one of the segments.
So let's get back into talking a little bit about the customer experience. So you talked a little bit about some of the metrics that you're using to measure success around marketing efforts. Can we talk a little bit about loyalty and retention and how that kind of factors in addition to some of the other ways that you're measuring the effectiveness of marketing?
Yeah, so one of the big things for us is what we call share of wallet. We try to determine how much that customer has. And so for us, especially in the larger markets, what we need to do is see what we think their budget is. What we find is we are with almost 95% of all colleges in the United States. So going after acquisition isn't going to be that important to us, but it's going to be a penetration play. And so we will have a particular college where we do $2 million worth of business off of that major university. But what we find is their annual budget is 30 to 40 million, and we only have 2 million. So on the face, we feel like we're doing a great job, but then when we realize what their budget is, we realize our share of wallet is very, very small, and the opportunity there is for penetration. So loyalty and retention are very important to us. Our retention numbers are fairly strong, even though our tracking of them, of our, especially the small business SOHO customers, are very transactional. But when it comes to the large companies, universities, large healthcare facilities throughout the nation, we have very strong loyalty there, but it's that share of wallet that we're missing. So a company may look at us and say, well, I buy all my laptops from you. I wish you guys would sell printers because I buy them from you if you sold them. And we've been selling printers for over 20 years, and so it amazes us that they don't realize that we have that. And we sell a lot of cloud computing solutions. We sell satellites. So if you want a satellite feed for $1 million per year, we will sell you a satellite. And so our challenge is a lot of customers think of us as more of the transactional business, laptops, desktops, that printers, that kind of a thing, where we need to let them know our broad spectrum of what we offer. And currently, with their loyalty, they're loyal to those small niche of products that they purchase from us. But our share of their wallet is still very small, and we need to expand that.
Yeah. And then my final question, Jim, is can you talk a little bit about how CDW is adapting its marketing strategy to account for the increasing shift by consumers to buying and shopping via digital channels, particularly obviously the web, but mobile as well. And I'm guessing even though CDW is more on the B2B side, that behavior is still the same. I'm imagining.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And so B2B and B2C isn't that much different. I'd say it's, 10%, 20% difference, but it's not holistically different. The shift to digital, it's definitely a big thing for us. We do 20 to 25% of our business comes over e-commerce, and a high percentage of that is going to be in our small business market. What we've set up for our loyal customers is what we call extranets, and they get extranet pricing. So when we go out with a catalog or a direct mail piece, we can't always advertise our best prices. Sometimes we have to, because of MAP pricing, which is manufacturer pricing that they're restricted to, we can't advertise that low, but we can give them better pricing on their extranets. So customers will see a marketing vehicle from us, and they will see a price, and they know, because they're a loyal customer, they can go to their unique extranet and they will get a discount off of that pricing. So we are using that channel to offer special pricing to each one of them, and that really is strong for us. We overinvest in social media. We overinvest in off-domain because those are very strong channels for us and continue to grow. So digital is important to us. We have a digital app for our vehicles now. So if you want to look at one of our catalogs or you want to look at one of our magazines, and those are a little bit blurry. I would say that one thing with our catalogs, they're not a traditional catalog. We have content in them, so there's going to be multiple articles in each of our catalogs. So we're not just pushing the traditional photo of the product and price and description. We've got content in them to make them a more valuable and more desired vehicle to receive from us. But we also put them in our new app. You can get them on your phone. You can get them on your laptop, anywhere, which way you want. They are available. All of our magazines are available with this new app too. So we make it really easy for the customer. If they want to read some of our articles over their phone, they want to make their purchases over the phone, we're making that happen for them. And I'd say 5 years ago that wasn't that important, but it is today. And there are times where you will have, people out at a golf course, and they happen to be reviewing the IT, and they will make the purchase over their phone. And so it's a growing area where we thought years ago that wouldn't happen, but we are seeing now that purchases are being made over the phone, and so that's a growing area for us. And so our thing is we've got to have all of our print vehicles have to be available over the phone so you can view each one of them. So no matter what laptop or whatever you're holding, they're all available digitally.
Yeah, it comes down to, you've evolved that you need to be in the places where your customers are, and they're
Right.
telling you where they're going to be, and you need to be present there, I guess, as well. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank Jim Garlow of CDW for his time, telling us a little bit about the company's marketing approach. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcast, for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes and Stitcher, but make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Lastly, please follow us on Twitter at MyTotalRetail or on Facebook at facebook.com/MyTotalRetail. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks. This episode has been sponsored by IBM Watson Commerce. The new era of commerce begins now. Unleash the power of cognitive computing with IBM Watson Commerce to deepen customer engagement and fuel growth.